Namaste. This is the beginning of a new era. It is the beginning of a time when those with an awakened consciousness will thrive. Those with unawakened consciousness, those who are slaves of their suffering minds, will fail. Only those who are rooted in the power of the true self will succeed without being damaged. As you enter these times of accelerated change, many will be the fears that society will spin. Many will be the fears media will spin. Many will be the fears your own mind will spin, but do not give in. We saw the fear of COVID taking the world by storm very recently. Now it is the fear of artificial intelligence taking over and making you redundant. It is time to rise and shine and not be cowed down by fear. If you have to shine brighter than you have ever done before, then you must be a Dheera. A Dheera is one whose intellect shines with the light of Dharma or universal principles. A Dheera is one who shines with the light of a courage within. The pure intellect illumined by divine light. Can you imagine your intellect, your thinking processes, being lit by a flood of divine light as you move through life? This was the chant. This was the state of Rishi Vishwamitra when he revealed Gayatri Mantra to humanity. An awakened being is a Dheera, the courageous one who is capable of taking fearless action. Don't imagine that the more awakened you become, the more passive you will be. That is a wrong notion. Hindu thought is all about awakening. It is not about self-improvement like Western thought. That is the fundamental difference. Let me explain this. A Western fable for children would be the typical ugly duckling who goes wailing, I am ugly, all its childhood, until it finally grows its feathers and becomes a beautiful swan. The Hindu fable for children and adults alike is that of the lion kid that grew up among sheep and assumed it was a sheep too, until it saw its reflection in water and awoke to its true power. And when the lion roared, all the animals in the jungle knew a new king was born. This awakening does not take time. It does not take time for the sheep qualities to wear away. No, this awakening is like waking up from a dream in which you were jailed to waking up and realizing you are free and you were always free. You simply have to wake up. That is the inspired by the divine. That is the courage with which you need to move forward. So where does this courage come from? The courage of the awakened one comes from three sources. Your courage comes from being able to stand up against the tricks of your own mind by being a witness. Your courage comes from being able to be rooted in the guidance of the heart without straying from your vision. Your courage comes from being able to be connected to divine will and flow with it with faith. Let us look at the first form of courage. How do you build courage against the tricks of your own mind? Without the light of self-awareness illuminating your thinking, you fall prey to your mind's tricks. The unawakened mind constantly gets you attached to something and makes you fear that you will lose it. What a silly trick this is. And can you believe it? So many millions live their days and nights falling prey to this trick. Let me narrate a famous story from one of India's great sages, Swami Vivekananda's life. Once Swami Vivekananda was walking on the roads of Varanasi. Suddenly, a big group of red-faced monkeys began to follow him and surround him. The faster he ran, the faster they began to chase him, until suddenly a sannyasi on the roadside called out loud, "Stop running! Face the brutes!" When Swami Vivekananda suddenly stopped running, turned around, and stood firm, the monkeys cowed down in fear and ran away. To turn around and face the terrible fears being thrown by your mind is courage. In an unawakened state, your mind is like a sponge, ever ready to soak up the fearful inputs of family, friends, and media. Those fears then begin to chase you. In an unawakened state, you either follow your fears, take their bites and succumb to them, or you try to ignore them, which will only make your fears stronger. Only a true Dheera, only an awakened being can stand up to these fears and be a courageous witness. Like terrified monkeys, your fears will leave you. Like shadows, they will disappear in the light. Let us talk of the second kind of courage. Courage to follow your heart. Whether it was a Sri Rama who walked away into the forest, an Arjuna who blew the conch to enter the battlefield, a Bhagat Singh who looked at his enemy in the eye, all greatness only happens when you follow your heart's calling. Circumstances may favor you or deter you. Allies may come or alliances may break. But if you want to achieve success without being damaged, follow your heart, follow your dharma. Do not buckle under pressure. Be a Dheera. And also know this: greater the vision, bigger the challenges. Just because your challenges are big, don't reduce your vision. You grow, you evolve. Let your thee become strong, vibrant. Challenges you can overcome with diligence, but it is your fear that makes a mountain out of a molehill, a Godzilla out of a garden lizard. Your bigger challenge is not your problem, but your fear itself. Evolve. Grow spiritually into a giant. Dedicate yourself to reaching a state where you will conquer fear. Wake up, and then you will be laughing at your fears and flying towards your vision. You know, in India, when children are afraid, they are told the story of Hanuman. How, when he had to cross the ocean, he grew to a giant size and crossed the ocean in flying leap without taking a break. How he laughed away at all the demons that tried to scare him in Ravana's court, and how he set fire to Lanka with his burning tail. Do you know the secret behind Hanuman's courage? Hanuman means one who has overcome his ego, one in whom the ego is dead. When you have no ego, would you keep fearing failure? When you have no ego, would you keep projecting if others would laugh at you? If you would become a laughing stock? No. You fly into challenges with courage and come out victorious. That is thee. Your third source of courage will be faith in the divine. Have the courage to take God for a friend. Ask the divine to sit in the driver's seat and go wherever you are taken. In the battlefield of life, if the divine drives your chariot to meet your worst enemy, look in the eyes of your enemy without fear. When you have that faith in the divine, internally you don't feel the burden of life. You know the divine is leading you. Is there any greater strength or power than to have the intelligence of the universe as your friend and guide? Imagine that. That is the power you will feel when you learn to flow with the divine. But for that, like Arjuna, you must ask the divine to take over the reins of your life. You must be in a state of surrender. Otherwise, imagine this funny scene. Every few minutes, Arjuna would feel mistrustful in the battlefield and ride the chariot himself. Stay steady in a state of surrender. Trust the divine. Stay in a beautiful inner state of calm courage. And let the divine lead you onward. Wherever the divine takes you, go with faith. Nothing can destroy you. You will be raised higher than you ever were by the divine, free of every kind of fear, fear of disease, fear of loss, fear of defeat, fear of death. Go forward to achieve your victories. You will become a true Dheera, the courageous and the victorious.
In fact, success has no beginning also. Okay, so success definitely has a no end point. Again, success is very subjective. You need to understand and reflect upon what is success to you. You have to come to that conclusion that this is what I mean by success. Okay, so success has no end point. Life is always towards growth. Understand that you must constantly grow. Grow in your knowledge, grow in your intelligence, grow in your health, grow in your wealth, grow in your relationships. Every aspect of your life, you must always keep it growing. There's no end point. So, whatever you have, keep it growing. If you stop growth, then you are dying. You are unlearning. You're not learning. You stop learning. And you are dying. We don't want that. We want you to grow. So, always keep growing. There's no end point to success. Success is something that you must enjoy as you're growing. As you are enjoying today, let's say Sachin Tendulkar, he hit his first 100. He enjoyed it. He hit his 10th 100. He enjoyed it. He hit his 100th 100. He enjoyed it. Every 100 he hit, he was enjoying it. He was growing in his life, in his career. There was growth. In the same way, you should keep growing. There is no end. He only retired because of his age. Otherwise, he would have continued playing. Will someone break his record? Yes or no? 100%. They will break his record. Every record is meant to be broken. So if you say this is my success and once this record is broken, I'll feel unhappy, then that is not success. You should enjoy your growth. You should enjoy your progress. You should enjoy every step of your life as you're solving your problems, as you're conquering challenges, as you're finding new solutions. You should enjoy it. You should find the time to relish it and cherish it. Then you're living life. So there is no end to success. Success is always a growth. Keep growing in life.
Namaste. I welcome all of you to this magnificent river of learning, transformation, and awakening, which is Ekam. In India, tomorrow is celebrated as the full moon day of awakening, enlightenment, and liberation. Every individual in ancient times held a very sacred intention on this day. They held an intention to live a life of liberation, to live a life of freedom, to live with a transformed consciousness. It is a very special day. Enlightenment, freedom, awakening, unity consciousness are all different words. Whatever name you give, you are talking of an expanded state of consciousness. You're talking of a transcendental state of consciousness. On this day, people hold an intention that they need to ascend into awakened state of consciousness and live their lives from there. Everyone has some common dreams in which you're stuck. Now, I'm not talking of dreams that only come when you're asleep. I'm also talking of those dreams that come when you are awake, in which you probably live most of your life. And you wake up day after day to this common dream which you assume to be reality. All your fears, your anxieties of failures, of accidents, of rejections, they're all daymares. They are dreams that you are seeing with your eyes open. Look at them. Your projections of fear are not happening in reality at all. It is only when you come out of fear you realize that it was as unreal as your examination dream. When you wake up from your wakeful daymares, that is when you begin to live an awakened life. Only then you are really living. And ancient India celebrated tomorrow as that day, as a day when you hold the sacred intention to live a life of awakening. Do you really want to live such a beautiful life? Every one of you, your child, your partner, even your enemy, the person you don't like, every one of you is a seeker. As humans, you are designed to seek. The human brain is not designed to settle for something small. It's not designed to settle for something ordinary. It is designed to aspire for something greater. And every human being fundamentally has four aspirations: an aspiration for achievement, an aspiration for love, aspiration for creating an impact, and an aspiration for enlightenment. This brings us to the question: does desiring and aspiring for something cause you harm? Does it move you away from a spiritual path? Is desire and aspiration an inferior path? Not at all. It is not wrong to have desire. The ancient Hindu thought never made it wrong to have desire. It is natural for one to seek to fulfill desire. Please know that fighting desire does not make you spiritual. It makes you conflicted and repressed. You can't conquer desire by fighting it or feeling ashamed about it. There is a natural place for desire in the flow of life. So fulfill your desire. But we would say fulfill it from a beautiful state of being, not in stress and aggression. Now, what is it to fulfill your aspiration from a beautiful state? You're not living in stress. You're not overwhelmed. Without inner stress, life feels inwardly very simple, even though you may be dealing with very complex challenges. You feel very connected to your family, your loved ones. You probably feel close to people at work. You are present. Living and achieving from such a state is what makes you spiritual. The first aspiration is for achievement. You want to achieve, you want to realize your self-worth, you want to actualize your potential, you want to actualize your skills and capabilities, you want to create security and respectability, you want to feel a solid sense of self through your achievements and the consequent abundance your achievements bring. The second seeking is for love. You seek to be loved in a way your hearts can be full, in a way your lives can be extremely meaningful, to love another in a way that you can almost feel inseparable. At this second level, you want yourself to expand, to include your beloved, your family, and an intimate group of friends that you care for. Most people's pursuit end here. They do not go beyond this to the third and the fourth. There are some people who question, is this all there is to life? Definitely, this cannot be the end to human life. They move to the third seeking. The third seeking is seeking to create an impact in the world around you. It is a seeking to make a difference to the world around you. When someone has this passion, when someone has this seeking, they are true leaders. They are true influencers. Some people rise to this. They know that their life is much more than seeking wealth, seeking achievement, seeking pleasure, love, seeking security or respectability alone. They know life needs a greater purpose, a higher vision. And when you realize this, you want to make this world a better place than when you enter it. That's the third seeking. That's the third pursuit. So many young people today are volunteering in Ekam and Loka Foundation's charitable activities, giving their time and energy to make a difference to the tribes, to the women, to the children of these villages, and to the forest. At this stage, you embrace a cause that is bigger than you and your family. Your cause could include your community, your nation, animals, your forest, a tree, or the earth. Your sense of self has expanded to include something vaster. When that which is within your circumference of this expanded self is well, you are happy. When it is not well, you are unhappy. This is because what is yours has become so much bigger and your love has grown. Then you have the fourth seeking or the fourth pursuit, which is seeking for enlightenment. So, what does it mean to be enlightened? It means that you don't want to live anymore in a separation-driven consciousness. You want to live in a consciousness where you are one, where you feel a joy without a reason. You feel love for people who can benefit you and also those who may not benefit you. Love is simply there. That is the ultimate experience of being alive. Because in that state, you are one with the plant, you are one with the tree, you're one with the stranger, with the animal, with the earth. Your care extends to every living being, and there is no separation. And that bliss is higher than anything you would experience achieving the first three. Your sense of self over here has become everything. Some of you could be pursuing more than one of these pursuits. Some of you might feel you have created abundance enough and now you're pursuing greater love. Some of you might be pursuing leadership, higher meaning. How actually are you impacting the world around you? Some of you might be pursuing enlightenment itself. Well, what we are teaching you is that it is indeed possible for you to be enlightened and manifest abundance, achievement, love, and impact far more effortlessly. Most people think enlightenment is a non-functional state. But it's not true. You can live, you can achieve, you can relate from a state of unperturbed peace, from such unconditioned love, from such causeless joy and oneness. And that is the path of Ekam. As long as you live in an unawakened and unenlightened consciousness, your journey is like that of a helpless hen. What is the life of a hen? I'm not here to demean a beautiful creature like hen. But when someone tries to catch a hen so that they can cook and make a lunch out of it, even if the hen knows it is going to be cooked for lunch, what can the poor hen do? It can run, it can fly 4 feet high, but then it falls back onto the earth. That's the life of a hen. That is what you do when you live with an unawakened, unenlightened consciousness. It's a life of struggle. But when you become enlightened, you become a golden eagle that can simply take off and fly. Not even your biggest knife or your best gun can really reach a golden eagle that is hovering over the clouds, that is enjoying the wind. That is the evolutionary path that you must take. You must reach a state where no worries can get you.